Okay, so in our last video, we discussed some general concepts about finding and filling out a 1040 return. We looked at Thomas Peterson's information. We determined his filing status was single. We have his name in here. We talked about the importance of the name being spelled the same way as on the Social Security card. Okay, now we need to add the Social Security number. Again, if there's even one digit wrong or off or twisted, this is going to reject this return. So we want to make sure it's right. It's on the top of his W-2, 412-345670. Okay, I'm going to double check that, because I do not want the return to get rejected. 412-345670. Okay, we're good to go. Now we're going to go down to his home address, 567 East Street in Orangeburg. Okay, the presidential election campaign, he can check that if he wants $3 that are in Congress's control to go toward the presidential election campaign funds. If he wants to do that, he can check the U. He can't, of course, check spouse because he has no spouse. Okay, if he doesn't want that, this does not change his own personal refund or tax status. This is just directing Congress to say, rather than putting that $3 into roads or military or anything else, I want to put it into the presidential election campaign funds. Okay, the next question: at any time during 2020, did you receive, send, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in any virtual currency? Virtual currency is like Bitcoin. So if he invested in any way in Bitcoin, then he would check yes. Otherwise, he checks no. Okay, the standard deduction. We're going to get down to the standard deduction on line 12, but these are some things that can alter the standard deduction. If someone else claims Thomas, he would have to check this box, and that would alter how much he gets on a standard deduction. Okay, if he's married filing separate and his spouse itemizes that deductions rather than taking the standard deduction, then Thomas must also itemize, even if he doesn't have very much. If Thomas is 65 or older, or Thomas is blind, he can check these boxes and he gets extra standard deduction. If none of these boxes are checked, then the standard deduction that's down here at the bottom of the page is the standard deduction that will be used. If any of these boxes are checked, then you can't use these numbers. You have to follow the instructions in the instruction booklet to see how much to put for the standard deduction. For Thomas, we're going to say that no one claims him as a dependent. He's, of course, not married, filing separate, so that one doesn't. And we're going to say that he's 45 years old, so he's not 65 or older. So he has none of the boxes, and he's going to get to use his regular standard deduction. If Thomas had any dependents, and there's a huge amount of rules for who gets to be dependents, and there's two different kinds of dependents, and he would have to go through all of that. If he had that, he would put the first name, the last name, the Social Security number, the relationship of that dependent. Of course, he would make sure the Social Security number is correct, otherwise the return gets rejected. Okay, so he would put all that information. If that is his child under the age of 17, he can get the child tax credit, and he would check that box. If it is a dependent that is 17 or older, it's not his child, whatever, like maybe it's his elderly parent, something like that, then he can check that box, and that's a $500 credit. All right, he doesn't have any dependents, so we're not filling out any of that stuff. Now, lines 1 through 7 are a variety of the most common types of income that people receive. If they have some kind of income other than that, then they have to go to Schedule 1 and put that other income on there, and then it comes forward on from Schedule 1 onto line 8. Now, one of the more common incomes that is on Schedule 1 is unemployment income. So if you have unemployment, you have to use the Schedule 1, put it on there, and then it comes forward onto this line 8. Okay, now here, lines 1 through 7, wages is line 1, which he has. Interest is line 2, which he does have. Dividends, IRA distributions, pensions, Social Security benefits, capital gains are on the rest of the lines. Now, he only has line 1 and 2 that we need to worry about. So line 1 is his wages, and that's 61292. If it was 50 cents or more, we would round it up to 61293. We don't put pennies on the IRS return. Notice I'm not putting a dollar sign, I'm not putting commas, I'm not putting periods, I'm not putting pennies. Just put the number. Line 2, line 2A over to the left is tax exempt. That's tax-free interest. Okay, he doesn't have any of that. Taxable interest, which he does have, goes in line 2B. So he has $537 of interest income. This is not 50 cents or more, so we're not going to round it up to 538. We'll just leave it 537. He doesn't have any other kinds of income, and so we go down to line 9 where it says add lines 1, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7, and 8. This is your total income. So we're going to add the 61292 and the 537, and we get 61829. Okay, so that's his total income. Then there's things called adjustments, which can be subtracted from the total income. There's a number of adjustments that are on Schedule 1. That's beyond the BAF 101 class, so we're not going to worry about those. And in 2020, there was a separate thing that they're allowing you up to $300 if you contributed, say, to some kind of charity, Meals on Wheels, or your church, or something like that. Then even though you're not itemizing your special deductions, you're just going to take this standard deduction, then you could take up to $300 in addition to that standard deduction there. So we're going to say that Thomas Peterson did not do that. Okay, so line 11, it says subtract 10C from line 9. This is your adjusted gross income. So that's 61829 minus 0 is 61829. AGI, adjusted gross income, is a magic number. It's used on a bunch of schedules and forms. If you go into the button on the IRS website that says, "Where's my refund?" they're going to ask you for your AGI from the tax return. This is the number, the AGI, 61829 for Thomas. Okay, line 12 is the standard deduction or itemized deductions. The standard deduction is the average amount that they let everybody have. If you happen to have more that you've spent on real estate property taxes, charitable deductions, home mortgage, and some of the other things that you're allowed to itemize those deductions. If you add all those up and they're more than your standard, then you can go ahead and use your itemized deductions. Okay, again, that's beyond the BAF 101. And so we're just going to assume that we're using the standard deduction. The standard deduction was raised in 2018 significantly, so most households are going to use the standard. We also don't have any of these boxes checked up here in the middle of the page 1, and so there's no adjustment that we have to make to the standard either adding or subtracting to it. So we look under the standard deduction for his filing status. He's single, so that's this first one. It's $12,400. So we put that there in line 12. Line 13 is a qualified business income deduction. He has to have his own business to get that. He doesn't. So line 14, add lines 12 and 13 is still $12,400. Line 15 says taxable income. Subtract 14 from line 11. So we have 61829 minus 12,400 is 49,429. That's his taxable income. That's what his tax is based off of.